let's say we start off this effect by having the spectator touch any card here they would like. Let's say the spectator touches this card, and I would explain to the spectator that they can really touch any card they would like, and just by them touching a card, we're going to see if they can find the Jack of Hearts. So I would explain to them, would you like this card or would you like to change it? Let's say they want to change it. So as we go through, let's say they touch this card. I would say, are you sure? And let's say they want to keep this card. So I would say, okay. Now, you could have any card here you want, but you wanted this card right here. And if we look at the other options you could have had, a 3, another 3, the 8, the 5, the 2. You really could have had any card, but we wanted the Jack of Hearts, and you touch this card. So let's see how well you did, essentially. And in this case, the spectator did touch the Jack of Hearts, which is really good. So now what we're going to do, because the spectator touched the right card and they found the Jack, all the spectator has to do is say stop as I just move the Jack down. So let's say they call out stop right here, and they can push it in, but leave it sticking out. And let's say they call out stop here, stop, okay. Right here where you said stop, we can put the card in. Let's say the spectator squares up the deck, and just like that, we have the Jack of Hearts on top. All right, so that is going to be what you are going to learn today. If you would like to learn how to do this, make sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, so getting into the tutorial, but before I do that, in case you're wondering about the deck I'm using, these are the Camp 52 cards by Kevin Booth. As you can see, I actually use these quite a bit, but I actually have a review video on this deck and an unboxing, because he sent me some other stuff as well when I had won a giveaway from him. So I'm going to leave all of that down below in the description. But for now, let's go ahead and get straight into how to do this control slash force here. So I'm not going to teach you what I did in the performance first, but I am going to be teaching you the control. And then at the end, I'm going to teach you a few ways you can go about this. So here's what you're gonna do for the control part. So you're gonna spread through the deck and you're gonna have the spectator touch any card. Let's say this card. You're gonna up jog the card and you're gonna hold it with your fingers. You don't want to show this card at all, so make sure to not expose it at any point because it's gonna be switched out. Now you can spread a few more cards, but essentially you just want to stop and you can show them that they could have touched any one of these, and all you want to do is get a break underneath underneath the next card you stopped at. So in this case, this card. So what you could do is you could turn your wrist and your thumb's going to be across the center of the card. And while your index finger is pointing at all these cards, all you can do is just push over slightly, pull back, and now you have a break. So it should look something like this. So you can really, so you could have stopped at any one of these cards, okay? And now you have the break. Make sure the spectator doesn't see that. I think the best way to do this is with a pinky count, which I will link down below in the description. But you can really do this however you want. Once you have your break, though, you're going to take this up jog card, you're going to place it right on top of the other deck, and now you're going to have a break underneath two cards. So with the rest of these cards, now you can really show them. that the spectator could have had any one of these, but they actually touched this one. So now with your break, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in. I like to do with my middle and my ring finger. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna lift up, and essentially I'm gonna just pull it up against the second deck and pin it, and then I can move my hand up and show they had the 5 of clubs. Okay, so it might look something like this. So you could have had any card you wanted, but you had this card. And in this case, you had the 5 of clubs. As you can see, I pinned it. And you want the double to be as square as possible, because you don't want something like that to show. I think even the tiniest bit of flash can be seen. So you want as square as possible, and I have my pinky finger here. You can have it on the bottom as well to keep it squared up there, but you want to keep it as still as possible as well. If you move this double around too much, it might come apart, okay? So you explain you could have had any one of these. I lift up. I show the 5. We're good there. And then I'm going to turn it down. And this top corner that is sticking out the farthest, I can use the fleshy part of my thumb to come in, just lock down. Okay, so I just move my thumb down, I grab, and then I pull away. And now I think if it gets a little messy, it won't matter because the rest of the cards here are just as messy. So oh, let's say we have the 5. We come down, okay? I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna lock my thumb down, and then I'm gonna bring it back. Now, of course, you can do it across the center as well, whatever you would like. But now you're gonna take this top card, which they think is the 5. You can lose it anywhere you would like, and then the 5 is gonna be here. So you can put these cards on the bottom or right in the middle. Okay, making sure not to flash this card sticking out the entire time. But now you have the 5 of clubs on top. So that is actually going to be the control part of the move. So now let's actually get into the move and the force. And then I'm going to teach you a few ways you can do this at the end. So for the move and the control, or the control and the force, which is really cool because not many tricks involve a control and a force, you're going to need to know the card ahead of time so you can get a peek at it. You can use a mark deck to read the marking. Okay, and I'll talk about all this at the end as well. But let's say you have a card set up that you want to force. Let's say the Ace of Hearts. What I do is I have this on top, and then I swing cut a very small portion of cards, so 10 to 15, and I catch a break. Let me turn on my light here, because I think it's getting a little dark here to see. Okay, so you can let me know in the comments if the light here helps any better, but to me it looks like it was a little dark. So I forgot where I was. Okay, so I'm going to leave a link down in the description for the swing cut, but essentially you're going to want 10 to 15 cards with their selection on top, or the card you're going to force, and then you're going to have the rest of the deck on top of the break. So now, just like the control, they're going to touch any card, and you want it above the break. It's not going to work if it's below the break. So let's say the spectator touches this card. Just like before, you're going to up jog it, place it on the upper half, and you're going to pin it with your fingers. Okay, now you're going to spread through the deck. Okay, now you don't have to pin it with your fingers, but you want the jack to remain up jogged, essentially. So now you're going to spread through the deck, and you can show that they could have touched any one of these cards. Before you show the rest of these, though, you have to drop off this card on top of the deck here, because you don't want to flash this. okay? So you can get a break however you would like I explained in the first part, but here's another way to get a break. So essentially, you can turn your wrist and you can explain with your finger here that you could have had any one of these. And all I do with my thumb, with my fingers already here, I just push the card up a little. Okay, so you can see the card is just up a little from the deck. I keep my hand tilted a little, but not too high, because you don't want to show this and you don't want to expose that. So practice this in a mirror. So right around here, and with your index finger still here holding the card, you can take this card, you can place it right on top of that break, and then you can push down on the top right corner. Okay, and if you do that, both cards should pop up right there, and then you can push down while turning your hand and showing they could have had any one of these cards. Okay, so let me go through that one more time. So they can touch any card above the break. Let's say this one, spread through. Leave these a little messy, okay? You're going to turn your wrists and explain they could have had any one of these, while your thumb is just moving the card up slightly. Because your index finger is there, it's going to stop it. You can place this card on top now, and then you can show these cards if that helps you out. So then you can lift up on both cards, push down, and now you have your break. Okay, so that is really all the move is. Let's see if I can do that in real time now. So let's say you can really touch any card. Let's say this card. Now, keep in mind here, you could have really had any one of these cards, okay? But you had one of these, okay? And just like that, I have my break. So you can even get a break underneath the first card first, if you would like, by pushing up, pulling back, popping up, and getting that break. And then placing the card on top. It doesn't matter. Just the main part or the main message is you need a break underneath both cards. But now you can lift up the double and you can show that they had the ace of hearts. You can come down. Now you're going to grab it. You're going to place it right here somewhere in the deck. You can place these somewhere in the deck. And just like that, that ace of hearts is on top of the deck. So it's a real simple move, and that's all it really is, okay? So I'll go over that real quick one more time, okay? So let's say we have the ace of hearts again. You're going to swing cut a small packet and keep a break. Now they can touch a card above the break. Let's say this one, up jog it, continue spreading through. And when you get to your break with the last few cards, I like to have them spread out like this. So now I can turn my wrist and I can explain that they could have had any one of these. Notice while my finger is here, my thumb can move up this card. So now I have a little bit of the other cards there. I can put this card right on top of the break. I can show all of these, and then I can pop up on that top right corner. Okay, those two popped up in the back. I can push down. Now I have my break fully aligned. Then I can come through, pin these against the deck, lift up, show the ace. Then I can lower my hand. Then I can put this in my fleshy part of my thumb, grab it, pull onto the deck, and then I can lose this indifferent card. I like to leave it sticking out till the end though, just don't flash it. Then I can put these in the deck, square up, and now you have the ace of hearts. So, that is going to be the control and the force. I hope you really enjoyed that. And now I'm going to teach you a few ways you can go about that control. So the first way is a little difficult, okay? But the second way is a control that's been around for a while. So here's what you're going to do. So this doesn't actually hold any brakes, okay? So you can spread through and have them touch a card. I like it to be early in the beginning. Let's say they touch this card. You can up jog it, and then you're going to spread a few more and stop. Wherever you stop, you're going to split your hands. So now the card up jogged is in a deck of its own, and then when you stopped, this is going to be the card you're essentially gonna force, okay? So you can explain you could have had any one any one of these cards. And while you do this, I like to go ahead and bevel the deck just slightly like this. Because I'm gonna take this card, I'm gonna put it right on top of the deck, and all at once I'm gonna use my middle and my ring finger. I'm gonna lift up on two cards like that, and then I can show the queen, okay? Then I'm going to put it back down. So that's all it really is. So you're going to be doing a double lift, really, without actually doing a double lift, okay? Not my best double, but that's essentially what you're going to be doing. So let's say we spread through, they touch this card, up jog it, spread a few more, and stop. Okay? And now you explain they could have had any one of these, and all you're going to do is put this card right on top. I like to bevel the deck some. I show they could have had any one of these. I come through with my middle finger. I grab two cards, okay? So that's going to take some practice, but you can show the 10. You're going to put it down. So that was a triple lift. So let's try that one more time. Say we go through, they touch this one. You could have had any card you wanted, but you touched this one, in this case, the 8. And as you can see, it's a double. And then you can lose it in the deck, lose this in the deck, and now the card is on top. So that is another way you can do it without all of the breaks. So let me go over the two controls, and then I think there was something else I was going to go over real quick. If I can remember, I will go over it. But if I can't, I'll end the video there. So this is actually being called the convincing control. So for this one, there's two ways you can do this that I played around with. So the first way goes like this. Let's say we go through and we have a card touched, okay? Let's say they touch this card, okay? So you're going to take the card underneath it, so this card, and separate it. So now the card they touched is on the bottom of the spread, and your thumb is going to go on the card above it. So now when you lift up your hand, while you're lifting up your hand, wow, the Ace of Hearts again, all you're going to do is take this card above it and essentially align it as one and hold it with your fingers, okay? So let me go over that again. So they touch a card, let's say this one. Okay, now separate your hands. So it's on the bottom of a spread, okay? So now you can even use your fingers here, contacting this card if you want. But essentially, while you're lifting up your hand here, by the time your hand is lifted up, all you want to do is just line up this card, okay? So it's square, and then you can hold it, okay? And you can show the 7. Now, I don't think it has to be exactly aligned, okay, because you can point to them that this is the card they have, but I like if it's fully aligned. So here is what it might look like in real time. So let's say they want this card. So I explained that you could have really had any card you wanted. You you could have touched any card you wanted to touch. In this case, you touched the 4 of hearts. And now I have the double there. So now I feel like my voice is gonna give out. So now continuing with the 4, what you're going to do is you're going to lower your hand, you're going to grab the double just like the first control, put this somewhere in the middle, bury these in the middle, and now the 4 of hearts is on top, okay? So that's one way you can do it. Here's another way actually you can do it. So let's say we spread through, they touch a card. Let's say this card. Now there's no need to separate the deck here. Because now all you're going to do is while you lift up your hand here, just go ahead and just square up this card as a double below where the two halves of the card above it and below it. Okay, so just like this. So I'm going to go through that again. Let's say they touch this card, take this card above it, and while you're raising your hand, just square it up like this. Make sure the spectator doesn't see this, obviously, but you can lower your upper and your lower hands, and now the queen is there. And then you can do whatever you want. So in real time, let's say they touch a card, let's say this one, and I explain, keep in mind, you could have touched any card, but in this case, you touched the 5 of hearts. And now you can grab it, and then you can really do whatever you want with it. But the card is now on top. And I think the last thing I was going to go over, really, was a way to just force the card. Now, if you have a selection, okay, let's say the ace of diamonds, just control it to the top, which I will leave a few links down below for card controls, and then you can swing cut the deck and keep a break, okay? And then you can proceed with the force and the control that way. But if you have a marked deck, that's even better because the cards can be shuffled. When you take them back, read the marking of the top card, in this case, the 4 of hearts, swing cut the deck, keep a break when no one's looking, and then you can do the control just like that. So that is going to be the video for today. I hope you really enjoyed this. Let me know how well you really enjoyed this. Control, force, are you ever going to use this? Have you ever seen this before? Okay, so I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Be on the lookout for tomorrow. I'm going to be uploading the control I did in my 3 self-working card trick videos I uploaded before this one. I'm going to be going over the control in depth in that video. So yeah, make sure you're on the lookout for that video if you want to learn that control. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with that video. Bye.